Hello from Nano Plodge. Today, we're going to teach you how to make one of our favorite side dishes for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's just around the corner, and we're going to use corn, creamed corn. We've been hosting a friends and family Thanksgiving since about 2002, when my mom and her friend Rosemary came to visit us from Phoenix, and our friends Nancy and Lee came to visit us from Minnesota, and we kind of had this mess of people, and we had just a great time in Seattle where we had a Thanksgiving feast. And so it has become Shelley's and my annual tradition where we just invite our friends and the family that live near us, and we all end up at our house. We've now up to about 35 or 40 people every year, and this year marks probably the 20th, well, minus COVID year, so 18th annual Thanksgiving feast that we'll have. And so we're super excited to show you about creamed corn. I don't know when creamed corn became the tradition. It wasn't necessarily when I was growing up, but certainly since early on in the 2000s, I think it was probably the third or fourth Thanksgiving I made creamed corn, and everybody fell in love with it, and now I make creamed corn every Thanksgiving. So we're going to start with raw corn, and we'll show you how to roast it, and then make a really simple dish of creamed corn, and you'll love it. It'll hopefully become one of your Thanksgiving traditions. First of all, I want to talk about the corn for the creamed corn. We have this great farm here out on Sauvie Island in Portland called the Pumpkin Patch. It's one of the original ones around. And they grow this corn called Peaches and Cream. It's a bicolor corn, so we get white and gold kernels, but it's super sweet. And I love peaches and cream corn. So what I do is when it's in season, in November it's not in season, so I've gotten this, and I take it in September, and I take it off the cob and I roast it. We'll show you how to do that. And then I throw it in the freezer. Roasting does a couple of things. One, it gives it just this wonderful flavor. It kind of dries it out just a little bit and concentrates the flavor, so you get this rich corn flavor when you want to make creamed corn. So in September, I buy the corn, I shuck it, we're going to roast it, throw it in the freezer, and then in November, I come back for Thanksgiving and I pull it out of the freezer and I make the creamed corn. You can't go wrong. But if you can't get fresh corn, make sure you use frozen corn, which is just fine. I like to roast it. You don't have to, but roasting it gives it, again, that flavor. But please just don't use canned corn for this. Get the frozen corn. It'll have a much better flavor and texture for when you want to put it in a dish and then cook it in the cream. The first step is prepare the corn. I've got our fresh ears here, and we're simply going to cut them all off the cob and then toss them with a little bit of salt and pepper. We'll roast them in the oven until they get a little bit golden brown. Don't want to overcook them or dry them out. We just want some of that nice golden color on there and that flavor that comes from that. And then at this point, if you're using fresh corn and it's August or September when you do this, then you can put it in the freezer, like I do, and save it for Thanksgiving. Pull it out, let it thaw, and then you're ready to go. If you're using frozen corn, then you want to do the same thing, only you're just going to take the kernels, toss them with the salt and pepper, and then roast them in the oven and be ready for putting it in with the cream and the rest of the ingredients later. So let's show you the first step. So to cut the corn off the cob, I simply stand it up like this and just take my knife and run it down the cob. It goes a little bit everywhere, just like that. So then you have a corn cob that's got all the corn off of it. And then I'll take it and just put it on the tray. Like that. And we'll toss it with salt and pepper and put it in the oven. Okay, corn is all cut off the cob. You can see where I left some of the pieces off the cob, nice big chunks. That's okay, it doesn't all have to be broken up. That's kind of fun. Gives it a little texture. Sprinkle it all with salt. Crank some pepper. Then I just gently toss it with my hands. Sometimes you get some little strands on there. Even it all out, and it's ready for the oven. The remaining three ingredients for the creamed corn are really simple. Some cream cheese, some cream, and some fresh thyme. And if you don't have fresh thyme, dried thyme will work, but I like the flavor of fresh just a little bit better, and it's worth the time to de-stem it a little bit and chop it up. But this is it. You had corn, salt, and pepper to roast it, and then these 3 ingredients, and we're going to create a deliciously simple Thanksgiving side dish. Here we have the roasted corn, all ready to go in the pan in the oven. We're going to take the cream cheese, we're just going to break it off into little bits, and we're going to kind of bury it in the cheese, in the corn. This is going to give the corn just a tangy flavor. Tuck it all down in there. Sprinkle the thyme over there. Stir that up a little bit. All the cream cheese is in there, tucked in with the thyme. We're going to pour the cream over that. We'll foil it. We'll put it in the oven for about 40-45 minutes. Let it cook through, and your creamed corn will be done. Ready for the oven. The corn came out of the oven. I gave it a nice stir to just blend in all that melty cream cheese. And here we have a lovely bowl of creamed corn, ready for your Thanksgiving table. Thanks for tuning in to Cooking at Nana's Lodge, and we'll catch you next time.